Good morning. I'm Francois Castellino. As you know, I'm a voice artist. Yeah, you may ask, what's that? Well, he did explain to you, but let me put it a little clearer. Let me go further. So I lend my voice for commercials on radio and television, audiovisuals, and the likes. So companies, brands, they pay me to voice for their brand. So yes, I do charge for that, and I make a living out of that. I'm a freelancer. Yeah. So let me go back to how it all started. Started with theater. Through my sister, she got me involved into theater, and it was love at first sight. Acting was love at first sight. And I tried to make it a kind of a viable living, but it was not possible, especially in India. It's not a viable option. So I had to look out for something else to make a living. And that's when my sister came back to my help, and she being a recognized and established voice, she got me into, voice recordings. And through her friends who were voice coordinators, I slowly started getting work. But it was difficult in those days because voicing was a very unheard profession. It was more of, a parallel vocation which very few people ventured into. And there were close-knit groups, so to break into those groups to get regular work was very difficult. But somehow, slowly, I started, getting work from one job to the other. But there was very little help with regards to support from family and friends, because it was, in those days, it was very chalked out professions like being a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer. Even a computer analyst was not heard enough in those days. So I had to really struggle to work and to prove myself that I could do it, especially because I was coming from a business background. It was a business, family business. So yeah, there was a struggle. Relatives thought that I was voicing as part-time and not really getting paid for it. And I had to prove otherwise. So it was a little struggle. A lot of people thought that, I was, whatever I was doing in voicing was not really up to the mark, and they kind of tried to dissuade me from, especially my friends, some of my very close friends, and I had to really, kind of convince them and, and show them my work, whatever I did, and say, this is what my work is, I am good and I'm getting better. So it was a really tough a couple of first few years to really break through. And and I stood the test because I was so passionate about it, and I just felt that this is my dream, this is my vocation, this is my calling. So I stuck to it. Yeah. Now, whatever work I had done, I had to promote myself. So how do I do it? In those days, the internet was not really easily, available. So I had to, take copies from different producers, whoever I had done work from, and burn them on CDs, and then travel by foot to different producers. There's this building in Mumbai called Famous Studios. So go door to door to each producer and say, listen, sir, this is my CD, this is my work. Can you please give it a listen and call me back? And they would not let me enter their office. But as soon as I mentioned my sister's name, they would say, okay, come in. And then they would keep the CD over there and say, okay, come back after 5 days. So it is a real struggle. I had to follow up. There was no mobile phones in those days, only pagers. And it was very difficult. I would get a page and then run to make a call. So there was a lot of hardships involved, traveling by train. So yeah, a lot of hardships. But the breakthrough happened in a particular job. My sister got me involved because they were looking for a new voice, not the usual standard voiceover. And she got me into the studio, and I was there for my first television recording, television commercial recording, and it went well. They briefed me. I delivered exactly what they wanted. Because of my theater background, whatever they were briefing me, it just went pretty smooth and well, and I was pretty happy. The feedback from the client was very positive. And from then on, there was no looking back. I just went head on, and I said, man, I'm going to make this work. and more importantly, make this work for myself, to prove it to myself more than anybody else. So I just went straight head on, and I went, right through whatever I had dreamed and whatever I had worked hard for. And especially at that point, because the clients are very obsessed with heavy bass voices. I don't have a bass voice. I have a baritone voice. So I was more slotted for character voices, the model on screen. So I lent him my voice. So that's where I was mostly given, voicing work. I was not given the end line, the product line, where the pack shot is, where it says Johnson & Johnson's, smooth baby powder or whatever, that line, that end line. I was not given that line. I was given more the character lines, characterization, more lip sync work. So it was a little difficult to prove that I could do that also, the pack shot line. But it took time for me to get into that and to have them convinced. Also the foreign voice. They were very obsessed with the American accent, the UK accent. Now, I can imitate those accents, but it's not a genuine accent. So I had to face a lot of competition with regards to foreign voices, which really was frustrating. But at the same time, I didn't want to let go. I said, I have to keep going ahead. There was this point in the beginning when everybody used to refer to me as Ella's brother, Francois. Now, Ella is my sister. So, Ella's brother, Francois. Call Ella's brother, Francois. He'll come for the recording. So, I didn't have a name. I didn't have an identity. I was just called Ella's brother, Francois. And it didn't upset me because my sister really helped me a lot with all her contacts. She was already an established voice. But over time, I slowly began to be recognized as Francois, Ella's brother. Yeah, so I finally had my name. I was recognized. I was called by my name first. And that was a great plus point. That was a great feeling for me that finally I'm being recognized for my work. Yeah. The final breakthrough that also earned me my respect and recognition was when I won the national award in 2018 for my narration in the documentary The Lion of Ladakh. It was regarding the Kargil War, the first victory of the Kargil War, and the lieutenant colonel who was responsible, Lieutenant Colonel Sonam Wangchuk, who was responsible for that first victory. So about his life and what happened right through that whole procedure with, in Saichen, and how they won that first critical victory of the Kargil War. So I had to explain the whole events, what happened that night, and the biting cold, just like what we are experiencing today. And it was very exciting, and so it was a very fulfilling recording. And when I got the national award, it was like an affirmation that what I have done well. And, I have really focused, and, I'm bearing the fruits now of my hard work over the years. Yeah. So, there are certain points, the way I approach a voiceover. Yeah. There are certain points that I keep in mind, especially when a client is briefing me as to what kind of a voice they require for their particular film. So I listen to their brief as to what kind of a voice they're looking at, and then according to my interpretation of the script and the film, I then come up with a particular voice. So in this, I'll be playing a film, and you can watch it, and then I'll explain to you what exactly that film was and how I came about with that voice.
Everyone leaves a carbon footprint on this planet. Every aspect of human existence has an impact on our planet, from traveling to eating or even just breathing. Flying a distance of over 1,000 kilometers causes over 250 kgs of carbon emissions. Driving a car for over 100 kilometers emits 20 kgs. Using an average size fridge for a day causes 3 kgs of carbon emissions. Even charging a mobile phone emits 0.3 kgs of carbon emissions per charge. Around the world, Governments, organizations, and individuals are doing their part to reduce their carbon footprint, but the importance given might not be enough. However, in the last few decades, with rapid growth and development, the damage caused to the environment and to the planet is devastating. We are all responsible for climate change and must take a stand and be part of the solution.
And the steps used to curb pollution. So I was told that you need to be very sincere in what you're saying, make it very real, very believable. So that believability factor has to be very important and out there. But your voice has to portray the seriousness of the issue. So that's what I kept in mind when I was voicing this. So I hope in these 3 films you can understand how I approach what I have to voice for. So every film is different. The approach is different. My voice is not the same in every film, if you've noticed. So that's how I approach my work. There are some facts and truths that you should not ignore that I always keep in mind when I am approaching work. Okay? You need to know your job very, very well. When you know your job well inside out, you can tackle anything. Not only that, you can grow from there. You can take one step at a time and keep growing and keep bettering yourself to get to your pinnacle, to your goal. So always know your job well and know how to love it when you're doing it. Because when you love your job and when you approach it with a lot of dedication, you can really create wonders. Yeah? Create your own USP, your own style, your own identity. The way you approach your work, it has to have your signature on it. No 2 individuals are alike. They may be in the same profession, but they have their own distinct and particular style. So create your own USP, create your own style. More importantly, be yourself. Okay, this you need to always remember to give not 100%, but 300% in every assignment that you do. Because you are only as good as your last assignment. It's very important. When you approach every assignment with that attitude that this is going to be my last, and if I don't do this well, I'm not going to get another assignment, that's when you'll do your very best. And I encourage you to always keep this in mind. Have that approach. Also, a lot of discipline, a lot of patience, persistence, perseverance, always in your approach. And believe me, it pays big dividends. When you discipline yourself, you're giving yourself the very best because you know what you deserve as an individual and as a profession, what you deserve. So always keep discipline as number 1. Never lose focus of your goal. I know sometimes in life we don't end up doing the things that we want to do in life, but that does not necessarily mean that you lose focus of your goal. Now, I was involved in the family business, right? And I always wanted to voice, which my father was against. And he said, no, join the family business. I said, no, I want to voice. I want to do something creative. So there was always that tussle, but I never forgot. I never lost focus of my goal. I worked hard to prove it to him that I could do it. And eventually I did. And he was very happy. He was very proud of me. So never lose focus of your goal, irrespective. Another very important thing, you do not compete with anybody else but yourself. You are your own competition. Never look at somebody else and try and use his success as a yardstick for your success. Always remember, you are your own competition. You keep pushing the envelope. You keep pushing the bar higher and higher for yourself. For yourself to improve, for yourself to take that level of success forward. So always remember that you are your own competition. Remember, failures are only stepping stones to success. Okay? Don't worry about it. Keep failing, but keep trying. Don't stop trying. Keep pushing yourself. No problem. If you heard of Colonel Sanders, okay, he was successful when he was 60. Did he ever think that he would be successful when he was 60? Before that, he had a number of jobs which he failed in, including the army. So it's never too late to be a success. The important thing is to not stop trying. So keep going for it, keep pursuing, and be in a very focused manner. Go ahead. And second last, my point is to always be a good human being. Okay, be good, be kind, more importantly kind, and above all a good human being, especially to your colleagues, because they are the ones that are with you all the way. Okay, you are studying along with them for so many years, so be kind, be a nice person, and be a good human being. And believe me, the rewards and the dividends that come back to you, you will never believe it in your wildest dreams. So be kind. And in today's day and age, we need kind people. We need people who are sensitive and perceptive to others and, open to other people's feelings and, needs. We don't need more successful people and rich people. There's no point in you being rich and successful if you don't have a heart. Yeah, you need to be a kind human being. And the very last point is the 3 H's that I follow in my life. It's honesty, humility, and heart. Be honest as to the kind of person you are, okay, and where you're at in your studies and what you're aiming for in your profession. Be honest where you are, the level you are, okay? Once you're honest about that, have the humility to accept it and then work on it. Yeah? And the last point is heart, is do it from your heart. No haphazard or, 50% of effort. It has to be not 100, 300%. Blood, sweat, and tears. That's the only thing that will help you take yourself forward. Okay? And I end my talk today. And as a parting gift to BITSPilani, I would like to do something right now.
TEDxBITSPilani, nurturing minds for a progressive future.
That's a VO that I've done for you as a parting gift. Thank you so much.